Hey everyone, welcome to Hackathon. We're going to be talking today about how to build a brand with AI. A little bit about us. My name is Maddie. I am the creative director at Aura Bora Sparkling Water. My powers include designing copywriting, sourcing memes, and my fun fact is that my dad baptized Kendall and Kylie Jenner.
Hey everyone, I'm Jessie. I'm an art director at Aura Bora. I do the design and illustration. I like to freestyle rap every once in a while. And my fun fact is that I worked and created Mulan's armor in the live action Mulan movie. Pretty fun.
Amazing. Okay, so Jessie and I met growing up at summer camp when we were 7 years old. And now we have our own agency called The Lads. And we're going to walk you through a project we worked on over the last few months trying to build a brand using AI. Just for a little background, Jessie, you want to talk about our work at Aura Bora?
Yeah. So we work for Aura Bora, which is an herbal sparkling water company. We work on a lot of the illustration. You can see here, we do all the illustration and design for Aura Bora. We have really fun can art. We've done the website. We've done packaging. We just recently redid our whole website, which was so fun to kind of work on the new brand for it. We've done little sub-brands for Aura Bora, like a secret menu where only our most loyal customers get to order from these really funky flavors. So we got to do like a whole rebrand for that. Drew Barrymore actually got to try it, which was really exciting. Maddie and I together have worked on a lot of brands. We like to do packaging. We like to do a lot of digital and online stuff. We do social media. So we kind of just hit design on all sides of it and really enjoy it together.
Cool. Okay, so today we want to talk specifically about AI and design. And I'm sure for some of you, this might be new territory, and for some of you, this is a really hot button topic right now. So we wanted to dive into that a little bit. I just grabbed from basically the top of Google a lot of recent comments, articles, and general feelings around AI, especially when it comes to AI generated art. And as creatives yourselves and creatives ourselves, we completely understand the conflict. There, just to read off a few here, picture limitless creativity at your fingertips. Sounds pretty good. Or an AI generated picture won an art prize and artists aren't happy. Why is AI art so cringe? Do you sell these art files to AI companies? There's just a lot of fear and there's also a lot of excitement. And we wanted to approach this whole project with that in mind. So we did a lot of research on just what are the general feelings around AI? And I think the biggest takeaway we had is there is a lot of fear, there's a lot of excitement, and more than anything, artists are concerned that they might be replaced. And we wanted to prove to you today that that doesn't have to be the case.
So when Playbook approached us to help design out a little sub-brand, we were really excited because we had just started thinking about how can we use AI to be helpful, not hurtful. And it is such a strong and powerful tool, and it's definitely overwhelming. But we were excited to kind of dive into it and be like, okay, we're going to use it to design a brand. And that's really exciting. It's kind of the new frontier. So we decided to partner up, us and AI.
The ask from Playbook was build a mini brand for Playbook's new AI tools for artists. So what that essentially means is Playbook is recognizing that thousands of their users are already using their creative storage and collaboration platform to create using AI, but AI's workflows are really complex. And if you're familiar with it, it's difficult to save your work. It's difficult to save it in high resolution. It's difficult to remember the prompts you gave AI to generate the work that you created. Usually there are dozens, if not hundreds of variations of your work as you're working. So that's what Playbook is working on, and that's what we wanted to help them elevate. Where do we start? We start with looking at the existing brand. Now, I know when you're building a brand, you don't always have this. Sometimes you're building a brand from scratch and there's nothing. And that's okay too, but we wanted to show you our process for research. And we really deep dived into the existing Playbook brand, even though we were trying to evolve it and change it in a way that felt really special, unique, and new. So some of the words we just collected as we were researching were things like, okay, the site is very clean, inviting, user-friendly, warm, sleek, minimalist. But then they have these really cheeky moments, like these little lopsided O's, and their favicon is a thumbs up with two thumbs. And so we also wrote words like playful, cheeky, imperfect, uncanny, odd. And that was our guiding light as we started working through how do we want to build the logo, colors, typefaces, brand kit, and a landing page for these new AI features. We're going to show you.
So when Maddie and I dive into a brand for the first time, we really like to just sit and chat through what are our feelings, what are our thoughts, what are we drawn to at the moment. When we're thinking about this brand, what comes to us visually, we start just pulling ideas and inspiration from wherever we can. We love to use Pinterest. It is a really awesome tool for getting ideas and inspiration. And when we create mood boards, we want them to bring in colors, we want to bring in textures, we want to bring in just kind of the feelings that we want the brand to evoke. So this mood board, we really wanted to use some AI to generate it. So we made our own images using AI to put into the mood board. We felt drawn to things that kind of made you tilt your head a little bit and go, what is going on here? We loved the idea of a big shrimp. That was kind of one of our first things we pulled in, just to be like, what's some funky, like sometimes AI will spit out things that you're like, where did that come from? So just some funky sides of it. We really enjoyed these simple line drawn icons, especially using Playbook's original one as inspiration. And we liked how that had a really nice contrast to the surreal, crazy art that you could pull out of AI. We really wanted to find that tension of like simplicity and then also just crazy color and art. We used Dolly, we used Midjourney, and we used Pinterest for this mood board. So we wanted to pull together just a really uncanny, surreal, with a simple side to it as well.
Cool. Okay, so naming. This is a really big step when you're working on a brand. Is the first thing people see and are introduced to typically is the brand or the logo. And so we thought a lot about how we wanted that to look. And if you remember the To Be Lights inspiration from the prior screen, one of the thoughts that was really sticking with us was we want people to feel like they are transported and almost like sucked into a black hole and shot into a new world of Playbook that is rooted in AI generated art. The other thought we had was the strongest brands have tension. And that tension for Aura Bora is we have very earthly tastes and we have very heavenly feelings, down to earth and ethereal. So our ingredients are really great. We source things really intelligently. We make really pure, good sparkling water, and it transports you into a heavenly, surreal, ethereal space. So earthly tastes, heavenly feelings. What's that for Playbook? We thought through, Playbook uses a lot of very clean lines and very beautiful angular looks and typefaces. And what does it look like to pair that in contrast with something loopy and three-dimensional and colorful and tubular? And so that's what we started exploring here, was just putting the words AI in the same space as the Playbook logo. And then, Jessie?
Yeah, so then we kind of simplified it and we thought, okay, this is a sub brand, it's part of Playbook, but you're playing with AI. So we went to play.ai. I had a lot of fun working on this tubular lettering because, again, like Maddie said, it just feels very a fun contrast to the Play typeface, and it does feel like you're kind of getting shot into another dimension. So we said play.ai, and then we love the subline AI tools for creative humans, because as we think about AI and we're scared of it or we feel nervous about robots and we're like, we still want to have some human factor in it. The point is that we are humans and we're using AI. So we get to bring in this human soulful approach to AI and just use it as a creative tool, but not as a way to completely take over.
Yeah, so this is where copy starts to play a little bit of a role in the brand building. And I think, like Jesse was saying, something that felt really important was you all have souls, we have souls, and that at the end of the day is what makes art really poignant and beautiful and speaks to people. And when you're creating a brand, speaking to people is the most important thing, speaking to their humanity too. So we wanted to start bringing in that kind of language, both as a reassurance to folks who might feel daunted by AI, but also just generally to celebrate artists and the importance of their creativity. Um, we also started going down the road of creating icons because something the Playbook did really well was use this playful favicon. And to highlight features and new features, it's really helpful to have iconography, especially on a landing page. So, as you remember, we had this language around that favicon. And so, this is where play really came in. I think one of the best parts about AI right now for generating art is just play, concepting, finding inspiration, even if you're not using it as a final product. And so Jesse and I just started thinking about what's fun? What's a little uncanny and strange? And so we thought, three-eyed, what if it was a smiley face with three eyes? And what if there was a steampunk spiral or a strange shrimp mollusk little figure? I don't know. We really were just playing around and wanted to create icons that weren't your standard corporate icons. They felt a little bit AI generated and felt a little bit strange. So this is where we started.
Yeah, this is where we dove in, and we just started searching icons and trying to create icons, and I loved the idea of having AI try to create a corporate looking icon, but then make it really arty and surreal and interesting. And so it's so fun. I've learned to just like throw things at the wall. That's what it feels like with AI. You're throwing things at the wall and you're seeing what sticks. You're seeing what it can create and then what you can pull from it and use. So I just started, pulling small icons that AI was creating and then tracing them out and then saying, okay, what could work for our brand? So then we really loved the idea of the three-eye smiley face. We love a swirl. So it's just fun to bring these icons in, trace them out, and say, okay, what can work with our brand? What sticks? What looks like what we're trying to convey? And again, we wanted to use the same line weight, the same look as the double thumbs up, and keep that surreal feeling of simplicity, but also, again, makes you tilt your head a little bit. So the shrimp is still around. It has stuck. We're really enjoying it. These were kind of the icons we landed on after our full process. We wanted to just get a family of icons that we'll use throughout landing pages, throughout socials, throughout the brand in general. So here's what we stuck with. Go ahead, Maddie.
Cool. Okay. So we already had some colors to work with. Although Playbook's landing page and a lot of their brand is really clean, white, sleek looking design, they also have these other secondary and tertiary colors that they use in small moments. So Jesse and I started thinking about how do we use these colors in a bigger, bolder way, and also maybe introduce some other colors as well. Because when you jump from Playbook's landing page to Playbook's play.ai, it should feel like night and day. And so we just started playing with placing these colors on top of each other, adding line weights, and making sure that things were accessible, that things were legible. And you'll see we're coming up on the landing page that we designed, how we started to use these colors in fun new ways. Mm-hmm. I know that we're doing a lot of design talk, but we also wanted to talk about copywriting really briefly and just how we prompted AI. We used ChatGPT to help us evolve the language we wanted to use and evoke the right feelings for this page. And it's funny, when we learn how to use the internet, I think one of the first things we learned is how to be really precise and calculated with our language. So when I Google something, instead of saying like, why do I have a stomach ache? I don't feel very well. Can you please tell me what's wrong? I say stomach ache, cramps, enter. That is how we learned how to prompt the internet, but using AI is a little bit different. And so this is an example of one of the prompts that we used to help create some language for this landing page. And then Jesse and I adapted some things and sort of used some of what ChatGPT put out in some of our own language. But what this brought out of ChatGPT was incredibly precise and impressive and really well written. Yeah. And it's just interesting that you can use, a 500 word prompt to get what you need.
Right. And I feel like this part of using AI was really encouraging and exciting to me because it really took us researching and processing what do we need out of AI. You can't just, not anyone can just jump in and be like, write me up some nice social media posts or write me up a landing page about this brand. You have to know what you need to ask for. You still have to do the work. You still have to process and brainstorm and think, how can I best use this tool for exactly what I need it for? So that was a really fun thing to learn. So here is our little brand kit. We're still in the process of working through this with Playbook, but we're really excited about this. Something that Maddie and I always do with brands is make sure that we have a really clean and concise toolbox that we can pull things from as we're designing. So getting this part of the branding done as early as possible is so helpful to then begin to build out everything you want. So we put together a little color palette. We get our typefaces in. We get our icons in. We get little line weight styles and what's the consistency of corners throughout your design. Little details like this help so much in the long run as you're designing things out to just be able to pull from and know exactly what things are going to look like. And all of this was used using Playbook's branding and then also using AI.
Cool. So with that being said, small drum roll. This is the landing page that we created. I'm going to take you through it just really quickly so you can see how we used the brand kit, how we used our research, how we used AI to generate what is now the first iteration of what this landing page will look like. We're still in process. We're still changing things. We wanted you to see what we're moving towards. So if you recall, Playbook's original pure white, very sleek landing page when you go to playbook.com, we thought it would be fun to tabulate it so you could flip-flop between the original page and Playbook's AI features. So as you can see, shrimp has lasted since the beginning. It spoke to us. We found it very playful and fun. We've never seen a shrimp icon before. And so this left side landing page is what happens before you click the very tempting shrimp that floats down with you as you go. Introducing AI tools for creative humans. As you can see, we're using a lot of similar sizing, typefaces, and general language as they do on the main page, kind of cheeky, playful, human, and inviting. And things are pretty clean and simple. We introduced the features here, but there's not a lot of color. We use our piping type here that feels really chunky and three-dimensional. And we talk through the features of AI. Might be thinking, though, this is a little bit bland. Well, that's the whole point. As you're scrolling down this page, this little shrimp's going to be bouncing the whole time. So now let's imagine you click that shrimp. You transport over to this side, and this is where you can see how AI can bring your branding to life in a way that you could never, ever have possibly expected. So as you scroll down this page, it's essentially you click the shrimp and you get transported into the AI land. And we used images here that we generated using AI and made millions of variations with. You scroll down, and instead of seeing this 3-up of simplified icons, you see how they look when they're AI generated. And as you move down into this section where we get to see the actual images that were prompted instead of just these little iconed patterns. So really what we wanted to communicate is there's so much power to AI and there's so much strength to using it to generate things. And also this is what it looks like to brand without AI and then to brand with AI. And a lot of this language and a lot of our FAQ language was generated using ChatGPT. A lot of our imagery was inspired by or made by Midjourney and Dolly. So that is where we're moving towards. And that's been the process to design out this brand. We wanted to share some learnings, and thank you for following along as we've walked through our process. I'm sure there are a million other things we've told you about. But Jesse.
First off, we want you to believe in yourself. That's the number one rule. We use Dolly, we use ChatGPT, and we use Midjourney. There's so many options that it can be kind of overwhelming, but they all have their own strengths. So just make sure you're doing your research and figuring out how you want to use each. We really learned that you can use it as an inspiration. It doesn't have to be a finished product using AI. You can use it to inspire yourself and then make your drawings better or make your writing better. Use it as a tool, not necessarily to replace your work. Give it thoughtful and thorough prompts. Make sure you're thinking through what you need, what you want, and exactly give it really precise details. Anticipate the needs of the users. Make sure you're doing your research. And with great power comes great responsibility. So make sure you're having fun with it, you're playing with it, and be responsible. Yeah.
Awesome. And I think one thing I would add is there's obviously a lot of fear from artists that their work is being stolen and that people are taking what their own personal styles and creations and generating it in AI instead and possibly profiting off of it. And I think that that's a really big learning as we've been researching how to use AI to create things is this is a concepting tool. This is absolutely an inspiration tool, but with great power does come great responsibility. This is really powerful and there aren't a lot of laws protecting artists. And so just be thoughtful about how you're prompting AI and what you're creating and especially how you're profiting off of it. Thanks for listening. We we can't wait to see what you create.
Yeah.
We would love for you to be in touch. Feel free to reach out if you ever want to talk about branding and art. And here are a couple ways you can reach out: Instagram, email. But thanks for following along.